Welcome to the Wonder of Woo podcast, where we highlight how businesses can scale profitably by serving others well. I'm Darryl Zavadny.
And I'm Ed Howie.
And this is
the Wonder of Woo. If you're a business owner investing time, money, and marketing only to be frustrated by losing customers, then this podcast is for you.
Ed, in this podcast, we really celebrate the rewards of serving others well in business and in life. And we say this all the time, it doesn't just feel good, it's actually really good business.
It is. It's good for your customers, it's good for your team, it's good for the entire enterprise. Right. Frankly, it's good for you and me too.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so before we get started on our episode today, I want to zoom up again, as we traditionally do for our community, and talk about what is Woo, why there are 3 O's, and what's this whole thing all about?
Woo stands for winning others over and over. Winning others over and over. 3 O's. And what that means is that the reality is that whether in business, when it's the first customer, or in life, when it's the first date, if you will, it's really good to try to make a first impression. What you have to be is hyper intentional to do it over and over and over again.
Sure.
The rewards are like exponential when you do it right. And when you don't, the risk is pretty high as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A long walk in the same direction, right? And that's a hard thing. So what's the framework that we've been working on and introducing, and how can we just kind of share that just briefly?
Yes, especially so how do you woo? Well, to woo, you have to be well orchestrated, well operationalized, and well optimized. Well orchestrated, operationalized, optimized. Orchestrated, you have to know what your customers want. Operationalize, you have to be able to do it. And optimize, you got to be able to do it over and over again and profitably. And unfortunately, sometimes the best brands are really great at the first 2, but they fail at the optimization.
Right.
And so what I love about the conversations we have every time we visit is we are celebrating when it works well. We're recognizing when we miss, when other people miss, and hopefully inspiring people to woo more and poo less.
Right, absolutely. And we talk about all the time that perfection is not the expectation. This is the pursuit of progress and excellence, and really the purpose of our segment today, and we're calling it Inspire More Joy.
Which I'm a fan.
Right, absolutely. And it's key to, it's critical and foundational to who you are. But in the process of doing this thing that we're calling Woo, and business leader or mom or dad or student, what it really might just be, how do I execute with excellence? And so the framework we have is Woo, and for you it might be something else. But what we're talking about is, hey, guess what? Sometimes in that you can get discouraged.
You can.
So what we're doing in this segment is really pausing to say, how do we encourage our community? Because you might be discouraged in your business. You might be discouraged in your personal life. And we believe with great conviction that the world needs Woo from you. The world needs great execution from you and from us. And so today's topic of conversation is really on cost, specifically when it feels really costly to keep going in this journey.
Right.
So Ed, let's talk about cost, how you think about cost, how we can help our community think about cost, particularly when discouragement creeps in.
So when I think about cost, I think about what do I have to give up in exchange for what do I get?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty basic formula.
Sure.
And it's easy to apply it to the Big Mac or to a steak dinner or to a new car. What I think we have to be vigilant about is installing that kind of mindset and activating that kind of mindset on the little things and the big things alike, beyond just purchase and transactions. Like the top 5 things I have to do today, are they the right? Am I giving up the right thing to get the right thing for those? Are they right order prioritization? And what can happen is when either we don't see the rewards,
right,
or we're overwhelmed, we can become discouraged. What is discouraged? Discouraged means to basically, our courage is dissed. Okay. Okay, that's the Latin term.
Yeah, that's Latin.
But in all seriousness, it is reduced. We have less courage to move on. What is the opposite of discourage? Encourage. And what does encourage mean? And that is to make courage. And so what I love about talking about this today is that when we are courageous, it is much easier to have peace of mind. When we are courageous, it is much easier to inspire more joy. because it is impossible to inspire joy if you are without joy.
Sure, absolutely. What I like about what you just said is essentially, talking about the Big Mac and the dollars I'm trading for it or whatever. What I like about it is this idea of trade-off,
Yes.
right? Like, so ultimately, every decision is about value and trade-off. It's what do I value and what am I trading? And so for the benefit of myself, our community, let's maybe spend a little bit of time talking about how you might think about value and trade-off and how we might encourage our community to do so. Again, leader, mom, dad, student, brother, sister.
Yeah.
How do you think about trade-off? I think about this a lot with my kids, where I think, boy, what I want is your future you to value. I want you to value your future you more than your today you. And so what does that mean? Well, that means studying today. That means working out, waking up. It's valuing your future you. But help me understand how you think about trade-offs.
So, several different ways. One is foundationally that the greatest business principle I learned getting my MBA was that everything in life is a trade-off. And I never literally kind of grounded that belief, but it is. Now, I'm not talking, frankly, ethical. I mean, you decide to do the right thing, there's a trade-off. You decide to do the wrong thing, there's a trade-off.
Yeah.
But holistically, every choice you make for something is a choice for something not.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If I choose to sleep this morning and it not work out, I'm choosing not to work out. If I choose to work out, I'm choosing not to sleep late. Everything's a trade-off. And I think we as leaders can get so busy that we start ignoring the trade-off. And so if we're off kilter, if we've got a low flat tire, a part of our body or part of our life, right? If we are not having the fully optimized fuel injection, if the engine is corroded, whatever it is, if we're not operating at our full effectiveness, it is oftentimes very easy to ignore the discipline of measuring the trade-off. So to know the cost, you have to measure the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found the fastest path to peace of mind, the fastest path of joy, and this is going to be a shocker to you, is intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionality is saying, what am I trying to accomplish? What must I do next?
Mm-hmm.
And how does this fit? And what from a project management standpoint is called order of occurrence and critical path. Order of occurrence is what is the order in which things must happen for the ultimate reward outcome to happen? Mm-hmm. Critical path, what are the things that if they do not happen, I'm doomed. You
Right.
know what I mean? That is not going to happen.
Right.
For example, if you're baking cookies and they're chocolate chip cookies, a critical path is you must have chocolate chip cookies in the pantry to make them.
Chocolate chips, right? Yeah.
Chocolate chips,
Yeah.
you've got to have them, right?
Uh-huh.
And so whether they are mixed in the third stage or the eighth stage, without chocolate chip cookies, you don't have chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Without chocolate chips,
yeah.
you don't have, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm thinking about how that would be really great right now. Okay? So everything in life is a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance the weight and measure of the trade-off?
Mm-hmm.
What is the reward you're chasing after?
Mm-hmm.
Let's use a fitness example. If you are not consuming less calories than you're burning, and if you are not eating a balanced diet, whatever that is for your body type and your situation, the likelihood of you reducing your weight, the trade-off's not there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really eat a ton of fries, sadly, and lose weight at the same time, right?
Yeah.
There's a trade-off.
Yeah.
However, you can say, I'll never have fries again. It always comes back to fries and chocolate chip.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You never have fries again, or I'm going to have fries every Saturday at lunch for the next year of my life, but I'm never going to have them again. That's the trade-off, is weighing and balance. Because why? I want to be healthier. I want to be fit. I want to run a marathon. I want to do whatever. Same in business.
Mm-hmm.
We only have so many hours to actually show up for our team, to show up for our business.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever our role, whatever our accountability, we better be doing the right thing at the right time. And when we do that, the cost is almost like unfeelable.
Right.
Because we're in the zone.
Right.
So I have found that when I am not taking the time to not just identify what the priorities are, but when I am not taking the time to weigh the trade-offs, to prioritize and the consequence of the reward and outcome, the things I can only do myself, then it eradicates joy because I don't have peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. What I heard you say is, first of all, scarcity exists for all of us. By definition, scarcity of time and resources exists for all of us.
There'll always be a need for more time. There'll always be a need for more money.
Right. So, we have to accept that and assume that. So it exists for all of us, but it doesn't need to be scarcity of mindset, right? So what I heard you say is, yes, acknowledge that and work with intentionality, understand the reward, namely the trade-offs. And then for me, I think there's also a great mechanism for reminder. The way that one can stay encouraged on a path toward weighing the cost well is reminding yourself of the rewards, reminding yourself of what you set out
It's
to
the
do.
why. It's like, why am I doing this? And why is spending these extra hours worth it? Because the outcome is going to be this.
Right. And listen, every time we get together in this segment, Inspire More Joy, the intent is we're trying to identify the issue. We're trying to normalize it. We're trying to really define it for the purpose of our community, and then really provide some practical and tactical solutions.
And I think we're also working diligently. Our mission is to empathize and when it comes to joy, if I can only share one thing with one individual about what joy is reminding people that joy is not a panacea. Joy is not perfection. Joy is not a lack of friction. Joy is a peace of mind in the situation. And when the weight gets heavy, I believe there is a path to peace of mind with a proper approach to looking at the trade-offs and not losing sight of what the reward is.
Absolutely. Leader, we do hope that this section of our podcast, Inspire More Joy, has helped you to perhaps frame costs a little bit differently, to understand that there are trade-offs, that one needs to approach it with intentionality and perhaps have reminders of why you're doing what you're doing. We are so grateful that you've taken time to listen to the Wonder of Woo podcast. As always, we hope this episode has encouraged you to serve others well and has given you some practical ways to do that. Ed, every time we talk about the fact that everybody needs woo, everybody wants woo.
Yep.
And so I say that again with conviction that everybody wants woo and the world needs it from you. So thank you for joining us on the Wonder of Woo podcast. Until next time, take care.
Thanks. So that's it for today's episode of The Wonder of Woo. Head on over to Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to subscribe to our show. One lucky listener every single week who posts a review on Apple Podcasts will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 value private VIP day with Darryl and me. Be sure to head on over to thewonderofwoopodcast.com and pick up a free copy of our gift. And please join us next time.